This is the Retro Inc. podcast. Welcome back.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Retro Inc. podcast. My name is Andy and with me is my co-host Adam.
Good evening, Andy. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Really good, thank you, mate. Yeah, very tired, very hot.
Yes, it's been like that, hasn't
You're
it?
going to hear the jingle of my ice all the way through this episode. Yeah.
I'm ice-free on mine, but still. What a week it's been, mate? What we mentioned on our last podcast was, or I mentioned, was the ill health of John Snepp. And the announcement came this week that John had sadly passed away. Did you know who John Snepp was?
He directed a film, didn't he? And he was part Collider, if I'm not mistaken.
He was an awesome geek, or as sweaty as he liked to call us nerds. And he was totally one of us, mate. He was a brilliant writer, director, cinematographer, editor, animator and comic book writer, and of course, as a presenter of Collider, and a very sad loss to the community, which is a very great loss indeed. But what a great week, though. So much coming to us, especially from San Diego Comic-Con, and we're going to go over some of that stuff. But first, a little bit of news. And the first sort of breaking news that we had, wasn't it, was James Gunn's tweets. Dave Bautista defended him very quickly. I don't know if you saw that message. Yeah. And he said that, we all make mistakes. He's made mistakes. We all have. I'm not okay with what's happening to him at all, he said. He basically just said, I'll have more to say for it, but for right now, all I have to say is this. James Gunn is one of the most loving, caring, good-natured people I've ever met. He's gentle and kind and cares deeply for people and animals. He's made mistakes. We all have. I'm not okay with what's happening to him. Well, this was like tweets from 10 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, well...
let's discuss what it actually was, because there was two words, isn't there? There's two topics. We don't really want to go into what the topics were, but they're not the best topics to be talking about on social media.
No. I've got a lot to say about the theories behind this and stuff.
How do you feel Disney have treated him then?
Right, okay. So I'll get into it. I'll tell you my feelings on this, because I'm going to echo your sentiments, which you said a minute ago, what Dave Bautista said about we've all made mistakes. And you've only got to look at things like Hulk Hogan, and he made those comments about race and stuff. And obviously his name was mud, and understandably so, for what he said. But it's been a couple of years now, and there's talks about a return to WWE for the Hulk. And it's one of these things where eventually this stuff will not be forgotten, but will
catch up to you.
Yes,
but it always comes back. Bites you on the
it will come back and bite you in the butt like it has for James Gunn. But it will also give it a couple of years, and this stuff he'll still be making films. He won't be, he won't be in the shadow. But this is the thing. My personal view on this is there's something else to this. I don't think this is as cut and dry as we've seen some tweets from however many years ago. We don't like him. Let's get rid of him. There is no way.
What's your theory here?
Well, this is my theory. I don't know what it is that's between them, but there is no way that Disney have not seen these previously. There's no way that somebody at Disney has not gone through James Gunn's records, that hasn't seen this already, that isn't aware of this stuff. It's there for the world to see on his Twitter. And I think you'd be naive to think that this wasn't already noticed, and maybe it was already loaded in that gun, ready to pull the trigger if there was something else. Yeah, there's disagreements. They don't like the way he's taking Guardians. They don't like the fact that he may be being stubborn with his characters that he's using, which is annoying for them for the rest of the MCU. I don't know. There's many a reason there could be. It could be differences with stars on set. Stars could turn around and say, well, I'm going to walk because I don't like working with James Gunn. This is all hyperbole. There's nothing to this, obviously. This is just in my head. I think there is, I can't see any possible way that Disney was not aware of these tweets already. And I saw a perfect meme earlier and it said, Disney, we're not happy about these tweets that James Gunn made 10 years ago, these jokes that James Gunn made. And then underneath was 4 pictures from Disney movies, which were so racially insensitive. It was unbelievable. You had Song of the South, which is now banned. You had a character I can't remember who they were, but they were all very racially insensitive characters. Peter Pan, there was the big Native American, and let's be honest, if we're, okay, they were from a different time, I know, and it was more acceptable back then, but the difference here we've got to remember is joke, because that's essentially what some of these things were. They may be bad taste, they may be bad humour, but let's be honest, we see this every night in shows like Family Guy and American Dad. These jokes are already in the mind's eye. They're jokes for a reason. They're that Family Guy humour of, I'm saying it because I shouldn't, rather than because it's funny. And I think that I get that from James Gunn. The guy is obviously a joker at heart. And from what I see, I don't know the guy. He could be a murderer for all I know. Legal disclaimer, I don't know. But I think it's all completely blown out of proportion if it is just tweets. But I honestly think there's something else there.
Right.
Maybe I think Kevin Feige's found him sleeping with his wife or something. It's just that'd work.
Yeah. Well, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was scheduled to begin filming in Atlanta later on this year, in the autumn, I think it was, and the expected release date was for 2020. Gunn had obviously recently submitted his first draft of the script for this third installment, and is currently unknown who will be taking over the film. But I have a little theory on that, mate.
Right.
One thing's for sure, though, James Gunn was not scheduled to make his Hall H appearance at San Diego Comic-Con after, and he was supposed to be teasing a new project, wasn't he? But sources confirmed that he won't be taking part at all.
Right. Before you get to your theory, I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. I'm going to Facebook message you.
Yes.
And I'm going to write a name.
Yes.
And it's probably going to be spelt wrong.
Could be right. It took me a little bit to get it correct.
Yeah, we're on the same page here, I think, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, there'll be someone filling his boots, and I think I know.
Do you want to say it in a slightly sort of New Zealand, Australian accent?
Oh, no, man.
So there we are. I think we're on the same page, mate, aren't we?
Yep, totally.
I think they've made their choice already, and he would be a perfect person to take it over. And visually, they're on the same page. Those two guys.
Yeah, and they've worked together as well with Thor Ragnarok.
So we're talking about
wasn't it?
Taika
Waititi. Didn't James Gunn come on board to help him write some of the Guardians characters for Thor Ragnarok? Yeah, so it's a no-brainer in my eyes. And so, yeah.
I think they want to lighten Guardians a little bit. And I think they want to keep all the colour, which was in Thor Ragnarok, and perhaps even bring a little bit more MCU into Guardians 3.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And perhaps James Gunn's ideas were just a little bit
radical.
Maybe a little bit radical, maybe. But that depends on whether, he'd shared the script or not.
Yeah, let's be honest, it does come at a time, like you say, he's just finished the script, the first draft of the script, and then he gets fired. So there's so many things here at play that are all matching up for me that seem too coincidental for it to just be some tweets.
Look, mate, the Disney detectives are out there, aren't they? And they are scouring every actor that's ever probably been in a film. I mean, it's surprising that Downey Jr. is in any movies after his his past. So
exactly, he's been in prison. And if they're okay with that, then okay, it's racial. I get it. It's not okay, but surely a better way of dealing with this would have been to bring it to the forefront. Like we've seen this. Get James Gunn to make a public apology. Stating that they were just jokes. They were made in bad taste at the wrong time, and I think it could have all gone away. They could have dealt with this in such much more of a mature manner. And I think it would have just gone away, because I haven't seen any backlash about those tweets, just the backlash towards James Gunn from Disney. That is it. I haven't seen anyone online going, it's disgusting, he shouldn't make movies anymore. There's none of that. It's just all James Gunn's been fired. And that is the long and short of it.
And there's a lot of defense for him, which is great news for him.
Yeah.
So moving swiftly on, because that is a little bit of a downer, we saw some fantastic trailers coming out of SDCC, didn't we?
Hell yeah, we did.
So, I mean, the first one, the first big news was Star Wars The Clone Wars Series 7.
Well, that come out of nowhere, didn't it?
It certainly did.
Do you know what? If they would have said to me they were announcing something at SDCC for Disney that was animated, Clone Wars would not have been on my list.
Would be nowhere near it, would it?
Not on a list of 20 items would I put Clone Wars on there, because it's done. As far as I was concerned, it had run its course, and Disney are looking to pastures new. Evidently not. So
The Lost Episodes is available on a Blu-ray disc from Germany, of all places, and that contains the Lost Episodes, which never got aired. So these have got to be either those or brand new stuff.
Oh, it's brand new.
It's all brand new stuff.
I can imagine it's brand new. Yeah. I don't think they're going to be treading over that stuff. They might re-release those Lost Episodes as well. You never know. They could put those out as
It's 12, isn't it? It's 12 episodes.
Yeah. No, they could put them out beforehand. I mean, this is all going to their streaming service, isn't it? So, nice little platform to release it on. And you know what? It actually gives me more hope about other things that we could get. Because if they're willing to go back to the Clone Wars, what else are they willing to do? It opens them up to so much more. And I know one thing, it's going to make me go back and watch Clone Wars properly, because I've never seen the whole thing. I've got it all. But I've just sat and watched a few episodes of season 1, and then I kind of fell off of it, because of all the backwards and forwards.
As I said before, recently, ordered the box set, and now I'm going to have a disc that doesn't fit. That's just typical, isn't it? That's going to really do my OCD head right in.
Do you know how many people have probably done the same thing? Went, oh look, I get it. Now it's finished. I've just found it for 20 quid.
That was weird that actually they dropped that price quite considerably, which made it highly desirable, and then announced that. Okay, so what else do we get? We got Shazam from DC. I don't know if anybody has read any Shazam, but it's a fabulous story. And Mark Millar did a kind of Marvel version called Superior. I highly advise picking that up. It's a very similar story, but just a little bit more Kingsman, like a bit more kick-ass. Like
I definitely got that vibe from this trailer.
Yeah.
Definitely got that vibe.
Looks extremely good. And in fact, whilst I was watching the trailer, it reminded me so much of Mark Millar's Superior and less of Shazam, actually. So that was very interesting. But yeah, great acting.
Mate, I thought it looked fantastic. I had no interest in this movie, to be honest with you. It was one of those, not that I was against it. I just like, whatever, DC to me has kind of run its little course. I think we get to the rebranding of that. I don't know if you saw the rebrand of DC's movies.
Yes.
I watched this trailer with no real knowledge about what the character is, or
well, again, this isn't something else that's sort of come out of nowhere. Didn't expect them. I mean, there was inklings and sort of comic book chat about a year ago that perhaps Shazam was going to get made.
Yeah.
But didn't think for a minute that they'd got enough footage together and a cast
It was not what I expected. With what we've had from DC, I was expecting to go into that trailer. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest with you. I just expected more of the same. And that is not what we got. We got a really cool, funny... I think DC have nicked a couple of ideas from Marvel here with like Ragnarok and Guardians and that.
Kids are going to love this.
Yeah. Kids, families. My dad, I mean, I went up to see my dad last night to watch a film. And I said to him, we could watch this trailer. I think you'll like it. And he doesn't really do superhero movies. He's watched one or two and he's enjoyed them, but they're always the sort of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Thor Ragnarok, standalone-ish kind of movies. And I've shown him the kind of funnier ones as well, like Homecoming and that. And he enjoyed them. And I put this on and yeah, he was cracking up. He went, yeah, that looks brilliant. I'm going to have to go see that. So it's one of those. I think it's going to appeal to everyone. It's got a nice good bit of comedy in there. And Zachary Levi, is it? Levi? Yeah. He looks cool. He looks cool in that role. Over the top, but funny. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this now.
As much as Aquaman, which was that, we had more Aquaman footage, and
I didn't like that trailer, mate.
Did you not?
No, I know you did. I saw your comments on it. I thought it looked really shoddy, the CGI.
Did you?
Yeah, right. I like the underwater bit where he was talking, and that was cool. But the aquarium at the start, as soon as I saw that shark, it took me out of that. I was like, that's a bit silly.
Okay. You can have that bit.
I'm allowed to. I'm allowed that one, am I? Right, okay.
For sure, yeah, you can have that. Yeah. It did look a little bit like the shark out of Finding Nemo.
Hello, Bruce. Fish are friends, not food. Yeah.
Talking of monsters and mammals, what about Godzilla 2?
Yeah.
What did you think of that trailer?
Yeah, I think it looked really good. I didn't like the first film. I got really bored with it. I didn't think there was much to the first Godzilla. It's forgettable. But this one looked a lot. I think it's going to be one of those that now, if I see this one, if this is good, it might make the first one a bit better. Because obviously the continuing story and everything, it was more of a setup for the second one. Plus Millie Bobby Brown, the girl is fantastic. So looking forward to that.
I think one thing that's for sure is that this certainly does look darker and has a little bit of an edge to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, certainly the first movie sort of laid the grounds for potential more movies, and that looks like exactly what we're going to be getting. I mean, I can't see it much going further than Godzilla 3. So I didn't actually see who's the director of this movie. Have you seen who that was? Did you?
No, I haven't. I mean, I can have a quick look if
I was waiting for up on the trailers from from the director of Rogue One, because that would have been if it was. I was expecting it to be Gareth.
You know what? Sometimes I like it when they don't put the names of directors up there. There's nothing more that bugs me. I saw it with was it The Shape of Water? And it really bugged me, and I know it bugged my friend Charlie as well, that it said, like, directed by Guillermo del Toro, written by Guillermo del Toro, music by Guillermo del Toro, gaffer, Guillermo del Toro, catering. Guillermo. Yeah, everything was Guillermo del Toro. It's like, okay, mate, why don't you just put up on the poster or the film, a movie created by,
a film by.
Yeah, created by Guillermo del Toro, like that. It's directed by Michael Dougherty, who did some good ones here. He did Trick or Treat, Krampus, Superman Return. He was. Hang on, he's the writer on all these. So writer for Trick or Treat, Krampus, Superman Returns, X-Men. So he's written quite a few movies. Let's see what he's directed. He directed Krampus, he directed Trick or Treat, and that's kind of it really, of anything big. And then he's straight into Godzilla King of the Monsters, so good luck to him.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and he's got Trick or Treat 2 coming out soon. Yeah, so that'd be one to watch.
Okay, what else grabbed your attention from?
For me, I don't know if this was SDCC, but I'm going to go into Buffy here.
That's recent news. Which is good news.
It's just really interesting news. Now, I know there's been talk about doing a Buffy revival for a few years now. Films were mentioned and, you know, so on and so forth, because it is one of those properties that's it's part of, pop culture, part of nerd culture. Buffy is a staple in that, and it has been for years. I was lucky enough to get into Buffy through my wife. I mean, I'd never watched it. I was at the wrong age when it came out. You know, I was late teens, early 20s, going out and having fun. So I never really picked up on Buffy, and I'm massive fan of it now. Now, because it's got Joss Whedon involved, that gives me a spark of hope. What I'd like to see, I don't know how clued up on Buffy are you? Have you watched it all?
I've looked at lots of photographs of Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, I follow her on Facebook, and in Hollywood. But yeah, she I don't know if she'll be involved yet. But what I would really like to see from this is not a reboot of Buffy, but a continuation of the Buffy story. Because at the end of the last season, season 7, spoilers here for anyone who hasn't seen it and wants to, but the Buffy basically shares her powers for a spell and awakens every potential Slayer in the world. So instead of there being one Slayer for every generation, every person that could have potentially been a Slayer in that generation gains the power of becoming a Slayer. So what I'd like to see, because this is going to have an African-American lead in it as well. So, I mean, if they want to call it Buffy and that, okay, cool, go for it. More Buffy's good in my eyes, especially by Joss Whedon. What I'd like to see is just carry on the lineage of the Buffy, the Vampire Slayer mantle, and have somebody else, one of these potential Slayers. And I mean, there's potential here to have lots of different Slayers in it, if you wanted to, and just continue that story. You could have Sarah Michelle Gellar turn up. You know,
and who's the other, the British actor Head? Somebody Head.
Anthony Head.
Anthony Head. Do you think he's free in this too?
Mate, I would love it if he made a return as Giles. I mean, there's no reason why Alison Hannigan, Sarah Michelle Gellar, I always forget Xander's real name, Nicholas Brendan and Anthony Head couldn't come back for this. Even Seth Green could potentially come back as cameos for this. I mean, it'd be a bit hard putting Boreanaz in this now, because it almost become laughable from season 1 to season 7 how much he changed, given the fact that he's supposed to be eternally youthful. Yeah. So you started to see the change in him growing up into the beefcake that he is now. But I would really like to see that. What I'd like to see is just continue the story on with Buffy into a lineage story with multiple Slayers and Anthony Stewart Head and Sarah Michelle Gellar all making a return in a cameo way. You know, they could do 1 or 2 episodes to start the series, a la Star Wars, the new Star Wars movies, and see those characters disappear. But it'd be a nice segue into that new story.
Superb stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to really, really excite fandom.
Buffy has one of those deep fandoms, like Star Wars, like Harry Potter. There is some real die-hard fans out there. I live with one. So yeah, looking forward to it, mate.
Well, the next bit of news is we'll be able to watch Solo instantly on September the 14th, as the Millennium Falcon sets its course digitally in HD and 4K Ultra HD. And on Movies Anywhere, iTunes and wherever else, and bring the adventure home on Blue. And then it'll be coming out on Blu-ray, 4K, Ultra HD, Blu-ray, DVD, and on demand on September the 25th. I'm very much looking forward to that release. I've pre-ordered my steelbook of that, and can't wait to get that.
I still don't own Last Jedi on Blu-ray.
That's a bit strange. I'm surprised at that.
Yeah. No, I've gone to pick it up 3 or 4 times, but I keep doing that thing of, I don't really need it now, and it'll be cheaper soon. It's still 15 quid.
Out tomorrow, and I'm very much looking forward to getting that.
And all of you, if you could stay away from shops, HMV or anywhere like that sells it, do not buy it. Okay. In fact, what's it going to be on Blu-ray? How much is it going to be on Blu-ray, do you reckon?
Ready Player One?
Yeah.
The usual, isn't it? 15 quid, probably.
Yeah. Right. Let me have a look. I think you can buy the book for
$6.99,
Yeah, $6.99. So essentially, buy 2 copies of the book, a coffee. All right, so you got 1 book to keep and keep nice, collect it, put it on your shelf. You got 1 book to read. You can sit in a coffee shop, have a nice coffee with it, read it, and you'll get much more enjoyment out of that book. Do it that way. See, that's what you should do for Ready Player One.
Or alternatively, pre-order on iTunes or pick it up from
Audible. You can get it on Audible as an audio book. There you go. We could do it that way.
I've heard that actually the audiobook's very good.
The audiobook is brilliant. It's got Joss Whedon. Not Joss Whedon. What's his name? Oh, I've lost it now. Will Wheaton. Sorry. Will Wheaton narrating it, and yeah, it's fantastic. I really enjoy him in it. There's a couple of little slip-ups with his performance in it, but he does give it some energy that I think is much needed, especially from someone that is a geek himself, and he's even referenced in the book a few times. So yeah, it's a really cool listen. That one, I recommend it.
Well, when Solo: A Star Wars Story comes to us for home viewing, one of the greatest things about Star Wars discs is always the bonus content. And on the bonus content of these discs, it's going to take fans behind the scenes to experience compelling discussions with a star-studded cast and screenwriters Jonathan Kasdan and Lawrence Kasdan, and a revealing feature on Chewie and his enduring friendship with Han, a close-up look at the original version of the Millennium Falcon and Han's first time piloting the infamous ship, the creation of the film's otherworldly settings and pulse-pounding action sequences, and 8 never-before-seen deleted and extended scenes. So we've also got Solo, the director and cast roundtable, where you can sit down with the director Ron Howard and the stars for an intimate and entertaining discussion on the film's making. Team Chewie, see what it takes to bring your favourite Wookiee to life in his light-hearted look behind the scenes. Kasdan on Kasdan, iconic Star Wars screenwriter Lawrence Kasdan and his son Jonathan share what it takes to write the movie script together. Remaking of the Millennium Falcon. Track the transformation of the most famous ship in the galaxy from Lando's swank, impeccable pride and joy to Han's stripped-down hot rod freighter with special modifications. And escape from Corellia. Get behind the wheel and making of this high-octane chase through the streets of Corellia. There's so much on these discs, mate. Fantastic looking.
I don't know if you're like me though, but I always
scenes as well. Massive.
I just end up watching them on YouTube. I never watched the disc. Yeah, I just end up watching it. I mean, I don't think I've watched my Force Awakens features. I just look at everything on YouTube. So,
well, I like to go into a shop and pick up a hard copy of it, and I like to have it in my collection. A little bit of news. If you're into Judge Dredd, finally we're getting some news that the upcoming Judge Dredd Mega City 1 television series will be nothing if not authentic. It was announced yesterday that Rob Williams, longtime Judge Dredd writer for 2000 AD, has boarded the show as creative lead. The news comes from Judge Dredd owners Rebellion at Comic-Con International San Diego, and Williams is perhaps best known as the Judge Dredd writer responsible for arcs like Trifecta and Titan. As creative lead on the show, Williams will be heading up the writing team for the pilot, and he's also worked with a team of writers to hammer out the plot for the show's first few seasons. Carl Urban, hopefully, is on board for this, and I really do hope Carl Urban is on board for this.
Yeah.
Rebellion also announced that an overarching plot for the series, first 2 seasons, has been established, and that a script for the pilot has been completed. It's also revealed that Judge Dredd, Mega City 1, won't focus solely on the eponymous Judge Dredd, but will rather be an ensemble drama. Now, I'm totally and utterly excited about this, mate.
Totally.
When exactly we're going to get this, we don't really know, but the basic story of this is Judge Dredd Mega City 1 will follow a group of police officers under an authoritarian regime who are tasked with keeping the peace in the massive city that spans much of the East Coast, Mega City 1. And I'm so excited for this. I'm sure this is going to go Netflix direction, don't you?
Without a doubt, mate. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, this will launch on. It probably will be a Netflix original. I don't know if anyone has picked it up. If they haven't, it will be. It's a perfect platform to put it on. I'm stoked. If it, like you say, Carl Urban, that's what I want to see. More of that dread. More of that dread we saw. I know there's a couple of people on our Facebook page that are wrong, and they're allowed to be with, Jeremy. But
well, I did provoke a little bit of controversy there, didn't I? By putting 2 posters up on the Facebook page, and there was a little bit of a skirmish, and it was a good skirmish. It was all very friendly and nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing untoward there.
Yeah, lucky you weren't in the room with me.
And do you know what film I was watching at the time all that was going on? I was just watching it happen.
My Little Pony, the movie.
Yeah, you bang on again. You're so on my level.
Yep.
I was watching The Raid.
That's what I watched.
The full uncut version. I must admit, my heart was really going whilst watching it.
Never seen it, mate.
You've never seen The Raid?
Nope.
Well, there is one thing that's very similar between those 2 films. And that is that there is a cop about to go into a very big building and get some baddies and work his way through the levels to the top. One has
Snowpiercer, but more vertical than horizontal.
You could say that. It's The Raid is a phenomenal martial art film. What he did, the director Gareth Evans did, was he moved to Indonesia with his wife, and he was really into martial art movies anyway. So he was watching a lot of a very different martial art, and he was like, "Has this ever been in a film?" And they were like, "No." And he thought, "Right, I'm gonna,
What martial art was it, mate? Do you know?
It begins with S, and I couldn't tell you exactly what
fair enough.
that is. I actually have the Blu-ray in front of me here, but I would struggle to even find on here what the martial art actually is, because it will only actually tell you, what the film's about. It's 20 elite cops, 30 floors of hell. It came out around the same time as Dredd, so that didn't really help Dredd that much. The fact that Dredd was only shown in selected cinemas that showed 3D, because it was made in 3D. I know that at the time that 3D was still quite a new thing in terms of the way the Avatar was 3D. I don't mean put on the red and green paper glasses. And that didn't really help things very much. As you know, I'm a huge Dredd fan. It's in my top 10 movies. I've watched it zillions of times. I absolutely love it. But I also really love The Raid, and I love it for a very different reason. It's one of the best martial art movies you'll ever see. There is so much martial arts going on in it.
I'll have to give it a watch. It does sound good. Everyone I know that's ever seen it has always
it has
talked it up.
Violence, mate. I mean,
sounds fantastic.
It's extremely violent. And
do you see bones and cartilage and stuff?
You see all that stuff,
Brilliant. I'll watch that tonight.
It's a genius. It's ingeniously shot, directed, choreographed. You also get Kanja Club in there.
So that's a Kanja Club.
Well, Kanja Club's in it. So
cool.
Obviously JJ, big fan.
Isn't Chirrut in it as well? Is it Donnie Yen?
No, Donnie.
No, it's not. Okay.
This is an Indonesian movie.
Oh, isn't it? Okay. How clued up I am on this.
So, very excited about Mega City 1, Judge Dredd, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. But
I've got to be careful what I say there. I could get fired for racist.
You could. One thing's for sure is that you must not get Dredd confused with Judge Dredd. They're two.
I am the law.
Exactly. They're two very different films. One was extremely close to the comic book, but badly everything else.
Every argument for that film is just basically Rob Snyder's in it. Is it Rob Snyder, isn't it? Yeah.
But there are lots of elements of that film that are so spot on the comic books. It's such a shame. So,
visually,
you haven't seen The Raid.
Very good representation, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it
Oh, yeah.
looks great. It looks like a Judge Dredd comic, and that you can't knock.
Yeah, the bike's good. Everything else about it's great. I mean, even the accentuated costume is great.
Yeah.
But it has two big problems. He
takes his helmet off.
Taking his helmet off, and that actor that shouldn't be in it, Rob Schneider, unfortunately. And The Raid, highly recommend that. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix. It may well be on Netflix. If it is, or Amazon Prime, go and find it, go and watch it. It's astonishing.
I'm going to have to look for it, because it was one of those, it's always been on my to watch list, and I've just never got around to it.
Well, one movie that you messaged me earlier about was District 9. Now, I
didn't message you earlier. I think that was commented on, wasn't it? I'm not sure, but it did get brought up between us somehow, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did it? Yeah. So, when did you last see District 9?
Sorry?
When did you last see District 9?
Oh, probably about 6 years ago, I should imagine.
Oh, I see. Well, judging by the message you gave me, I figured you'd just watched it again. I'd not seen it before.
No. That was my wife that commented on that.
What was it?
What it was I really wanted to watch that film, and it was when we were in our old flat. It was before we had our daughter, and we used to watch a hell of a lot of movies back then. And I said to her, how about this District 9? She was like, no, I'm not watching a sci-fi movie. I said, no, it's not. It's about illegal immigrants in a constant, like in a camp in Africa. I said, I said, and it's about, this divide, this cultural divide between. She was like, oh yeah, it sounds brilliant. And then obviously 10 minutes into the film, he's going on about effing prawns, and she was like, yeah, she was like, I can't believe you, and managed to watch the whole film. But yeah, she's never let me down, let me forget that one. And unfortunately, every time I say a film now, she has to have a look on IMDb before she believes me. So yeah,
I think it's a very sentimental film. I think it's it has a lot to say, and that's why I love it. I remember seeing that in the cinema, and I actually did cry at the end of it. Really cried at the end of it.
I think it's a fantastic movie, mate. And Shelter Copley is phenomenal in every role he's in. I love that guy.
So have you seen Europa Report?
No.
Have you seen Hardcore Henry?
Yes. Yes. I enjoyed it. Now that film, it's for me, it was an event. It was one of those films, you don't watch it because you're watching a film, you're watching a work of art, essentially, not in a pretentious way.
Tell the listener,
seeing someone to...
Yeah. Let's explain to the listener what Hardcore Henry is really about.
Well,
a guy wakes up on a hospital bed. He looks down, and you are him. So
first person.
It's all first person. So it's all handy cam. Well, we're not even that. It's GoPro, isn't it? Almost?
GoPro, yeah. I think the whole film was filmed on GoPro. So
and he looks down, and there's someone who he she claims is his girlfriend, and he's been in an accident, and he's been fixed. And the next thing you know, the room's full of some bad guys.
He's got a Luke Skywalker hand, hasn't he?
That's right, he has, a robotic hand. And she says, you've got to get out of here. And then you are him escaping out the building. It's all first person. It can make you very queasy, that's for sure. In terms of how it's shot.
I heard more backlash from cinema goers than I did home release for that movie. I think being on that big screen was a bit too much, especially with frame rate and everything. There's too much going on. But the whole film, the entirety of the movie is shot first person, isn't it?
I saw it with my mate Sebastian, and I think I did anyway. I know I went to the cinema to see it, and I just remember whoever I was with getting up and going out, and I wasn't sure where he'd gone, toilet, but he didn't come back for quite a while, and I wasn't sure if he was feeling a little bit queasy.
Probably,
Yeah.
But it is a real fun film, that.
It's a fabulous movie.
Yeah, like I say, it's an event. It's one of those, you don't sit down and think, oh, I'm going to sit here and relax and watch a film for an hour and a half. You're going to sit and watch a piece of work. It's a bit more immersive than your usual film. I think you have to go in with the intention of giving it 110%. Nothing else distracts you. You are being that person for an hour and a half, and you've got to enjoy that film.
It's like being in a game, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's exactly what it is. It's you're watching someone play a first-person game for over an hour, and it's great. It's
How
really
do you
fun.
think it would work as a sort of a war movie doing something like that.
It'd be too much, mate. I think it's one of those that I don't think we ever need anything else like Hardcore Henry.
I agree. I think it's a one-off.
Yeah.
Another movie he was in was Elysium, by the same director who did both Chappie and District 9. You like that?
Yeah, I did.
I thought it was an incredible film. I've watched it several times since the first time I saw it in the cinema, and it's got better, actually, I think. And it's not a movie that's going to sort of date very much, do you think? I mean, the CGI in it is brilliant.
Yeah, it's a surprise that film didn't do more than it did. I don't understand why. It's got all the workings. Jodie Foster's in it. Matt Damon. You know, there's the cast there. That's all I need in a film, Jodie Foster and Matt Damon. That sounds fantastic. Charlotte Copley's in it as well, obviously. It's great. Visually beautiful. The story was there. I mean, it did give me some undertones of Halo with the the planet thing, you know, the habitat. But yeah, it's a really, really good film. I don't get it. I don't get it with some things, how some things can be so big and yet some things can be poo-pooed to the side, you know.
Well, you know, another similar movie to that was Oblivion, wasn't it? That sort of, you know, had a lot of love and a lot of haters, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. It's not really about necessarily the lead role so much.
No, because Tom Cruise is flawless and everybody should love him.
That poster behind you, mate, is a bit much of Tom in his pants.
Is it the fact that I photoshopped myself in next to it with him in my pants? Yeah.
It's where your head is strategically placed.
I do that thing from Risky Business sometimes. I just run into my kitchen and slide across. It was a Risky Business where he slides across the floor in his pants. I do that quite a bit, but it's the only reason why I own Wi-Fi.
Well, I think some people sort of saw these films and thought they were a little bit obvious. Thought they were it was a bit of an obvious movie, the twist that was in it, but
it was. It was, but let's be honest, a lot of films are like that. You know, it's the journey, not the destination. Yeah, and it's a real fun film. Again, he acts the hell out of that, as he always does. You know, he does a lot of running with his pointy hands, where he's karate chop in the air. I'm cool with this movie. Andrea Riseborough she actually caught my eye in that film. I sort of Googled her to see who she was, because I really enjoyed her in Oblivion. And since then, I've realised I've seen her in a lot of other things. But yeah, great film if you haven't seen that. But we are going so off tangents tonight here.
It's good. Did you see the new trailer for the new zombie war movie by JJ, or produced by JJ?
I didn't. You sent me the link. I haven't watched it yet.
Well, maybe we should talk about that on our next episode.
Yes, let's do.
So you can watch that, because I think that we need to just talk about, because I think that's going to be rather spectacular.
And it'd be up my street as well. Zombies, JJ.
Other stuff that came out of San Diego Comic Con was some toys and some great stuff from Hasbro. Black Series release figures, a new TIE Fighter. Gentle Giant busts, which all look absolutely beautiful. I mean, they're all going to be around the 150 mark, those busts. Sideshow and Hot Toys have just gone full on and shown huge amount of new releases coming over the next year. The top one for me is the quarter scale Darth Vader. Mm-hmm. That's one hell of a statue. That's going to I mean, this essentially is, the same as a 1/6 scale, fully articulated figure, but in 1/4 scale. So it's big, and you can move this thing, articulate it however you want it, and it has obviously the reveal as well, as you can see Anakin's very burnt up little head underneath there. Stunning amount of Marvel and DC statues, along with John Wick, Mr. Anderson himself, from The Matrix. And
I was going to say, did you see the Marvel ones? Because some of them are beautiful as well. I really like the Thor one. Yeah, I think that looked great.
There's several Iron Man statues, Predator. The John Wick one looks really, really good. Keanu as and Neo looks fabulous. Yeah, huge amount of stuff from Hot Toys. Anovos have shown off some of their new helmets that have should be gracing some people's shelves very over the next year. And what else have you seen that's caught your eye? Anything else? Any gaming news from gaming news? Oh yeah, Black Series, of course. Yeah, there's
some nice ones of those in there.
Orange from the vintage collection. Any gaming news did you pick up on at all?
Well, there was more info on the Google console, wasn't there?
There was indeed, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on all the facts, so I'm going to let you take this one. But I did see that.
I'll let you take that one because actually, I think I sent you the link on it.
I didn't watch it. I didn't read it. I've been decorating for 2 days. I'm covered in paint. But yeah.
Well, I think it's pretty much exactly what we discussed on a previous episode. Yeah. It's going to be an all in one box.
Media center, isn't it? Yeah. Google is going to take over your home. And there's going to be gaming involved in that as well. That's the long and the short of it, isn't it, really? We're going to, this is your Google Home, like your Amazon Alexa. I shouldn't have said that, might have set off in a minute. But this is like your Google Home. But it's going to plug into your TV. You're going to have Google TV on it, Chromecast, you'll have gaming, you'll have your entertainment, your media, everything. I mean, this is what I said to you before. This is where I see gaming going in the future. That even I think it's Phil Spencer at Microsoft said that he doesn't, I think it was him, don't quote me on it, but I think it was him that said he doesn't see there being another generation of consoles after this one. Consoles. He sees a gaming device, but not in the capacity of an Xbox or a PlayStation, you know. And this is what I see. I mean, this is exactly it with the Google thing. We've already got streaming services down for gaming. I've got PlayStation Now where I can play a back catalogue, 400 games for the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 2. And it just streams just like Netflix. This is what it will be. Yeah, we will go into I'd say in the next 10 years, I reckon, you know, we're going to get this next console come out. Then we'll get a midlife cycle release of something for the next console generation. And it will be something akin to the Google, whatever it is, if Google haven't already cornered that market by that time. Because this will be, I think, a yearly iteration or a 2-yearly iteration of something. Because it makes it more affordable when you're selling it as an everyday product for people. When you're selling a console to parents, to families, you know, their kid wants a PlayStation 5 and they've got to drop 400 quid for a PlayStation, which is a gaming console in their eyes. They go, it's a bit steep. When you get someone, say for instance like my dad has 3 Amazon Echoes in his house, one in his bedroom, one in the spare room, one downstairs. They're all linked together and he uses them every day. And this is what this Google thing will be. And if you're selling it alongside those other capacities, those other things that it does, this will be in every home.
Did you know Google is poised to acquire Twitch?
I did not know that. I know they tried to buy it a few years back, didn't they? But didn't Amazon sweep in and get it?
So I think if they're going to acquire Twitch, they've already got obviously Skype and YouTube. You're going to get a lot of gamers channels that you can watch, so you won't even need to ever watch your television ever again, will you? That's for sure.
No, but it captures people like me. I mean, I'm a massive gamer. I always have been. But over the last sort of console and a half generation, I've not fallen out of love with gaming. I don't have time for gaming as much, and I feel a bit bad going and spending 300 quid on a console. But if I'm buying something that has got all the TV capabilities, I actually use my PlayStation more for TV than I use it for anything else. But if I have a little box sitting in the room that I can do that with, and it's all Google and it's all synced up, and you know, it's the future. This is what we'll all have one day. I don't think that there's going to be a change in this monopoly on the market soon, and I think consoles are going to, unless Sony team up with someone like Google, like maybe Amazon turn around to Microsoft and go, look, we need your tech, but we want to use our name. You never know how this could go. So, but it'd be fun to see. Very fun.
Well, I think this is the new sort of skybox, isn't it? It's what I think a lot of people sort of want is an all-in-one system. Mm-hmm. A lot of developers all under one roof as well, game developers, and players can put their Twitch accounts on your big screen, and we can watch those guys playing games. With our kids are doing that already, actually.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
What else did we pick up this week? Have you been out a little bit of shopping? Picked anything up? Bought anything?
No, mate. I've literally been decorating. That's all I've been doing. Working and decorating. I'm now off for a week, so
very nice.
A lot of decorating to do now. But there are a couple of things I've had my eye on that I've wanted to go out and get, but I haven't yet. I'm still waiting for Asda to drop the price of those 3 3/4 inch from £5 down a bit more. I want to argue the fact that they've gone and damaged the card on them, so they should reduce them for me as a collector. But I'll wait a few months because none of them have moved. I go in there every other day, late at night, and some of those Yodas are still in exactly the same position on the peg. You know, they're like halfway down, not even been touched by anyone. So sooner or later, those things are going to drop. How about yourself? You bought anything?
I went out today. I picked up Battle of the Planets comic from Image and Top Cow. I picked up a couple of an annual, Star Wars annual, and what I did want to get today is 2 figures from NECA, which is Blade Runner 2049 figures. So it's K and Deckard figures, which are the only 2 I've actually seen. They retail, I think, about 25 each. So these are 6-inch figures from the movie. The only problem I will have is getting them out of the box. That's the only problem I'll have, because I would like to, have a little Blade Runner setup, to be honest. But that's about it, really. Yeah. I did actually get something rather beautiful, actually, from Merchoid. Have you heard of Merchoid? It's a geek nerd website, and I picked up a beautiful Darth Vader dispatch bag. It kept popping up on my Facebook stream, and I have bought from Merchoid before, so that's probably why I kept getting it up on my feed. And there's this Darth Vader bag, and I thought, I just have to have that. And it arrived on Saturday. I've still got it in the shrink. It was packaged beautifully. So if you ever buy anything from Merchoid, they actually bubble wrap your stuff, so it's bomb proof. So I actually haven't taken it off their shrink wrap to actually have a look at it just yet. But very excited. The actual handle. So you've got a strap, obviously, to go over your head. The main bag itself has Vader's chest plate pattern, and the handle on the top is Vader's saber. So
cool. Saying that actually about packaging, because I get a monthly Geek box from my Geek box, I think it is. Their packaging is phenomenal as well. It's got those big pillow air bubbles inside the solid box and everything. But yeah, so. And I got a nice Star Wars light in my one this month, so I was very happy.
Did you?
Yeah, it's one, one of those little lenticular sort of hologrammy type ones with the light behind it in the box. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. But to get that in your little Geek box made me well happy. So
lovely.
Yeah, and an ice cube tray, which was quite fitting at the moment. A nice Marvel Avengers ice cube tray. So I now have Captain America ice cubes.
Handy, very handy.
Oh, it is.
Well, if there's any more stuff that we've forgotten, we'll certainly be adding that onto our next podcast. But thanks ever so much for everyone for leaving your comments and subscribing to the podcast. And thanks so much for joining us for this week. I've been Adam.
And I've been Andy.
Thanks so much for listening to Retro Inc. Podcast.